A very warm welcome to everybody. I am Gino Roncaglia from Rome. I am broadcasting from Rome in Italy. And I will introduce this live event organized by the ReadTwinning project. ReadTwinning is a project which has been organized within the Erasmus Plus projects of the European Union, and is a project which is devoted to promoting reading with special reference to young people and the schools. We will discuss today the project. This is our first dissemination event. For obvious reasons, it is a virtual dissemination event, but being virtual, we have the opportunity of being followed live from the different countries of the project, and maybe even from other European countries. I will give you a few ideas about the project, and I will start by sharing a very, very short presentation. It will be, I have to choose the window, and here it is of the presentation. You should be able now to see the presentation. Just a very short overview of the project. First of all, a bit of history. The ReadTwinning project was approved and started to work in 2019, at the end, in the second half of 2019. And of course, we had almost immediately to meet the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemics. We had just the time to organize the first meeting of the project in Rome, and then almost a couple of months after that, we had to face this difficult situation. It's not an easy situation for a project which needs meetings, which needs exchanges of opinions, but also of people. We tried to cope with this situation as best as we could. Of course, we had to make some compromise, but we also thought that this was a situation in which schools, which in many countries work now at distance, with distance teaching and distance learning. Well, in this situation, it may be that reading is one of the most important tools that we can use to continue to keep teaching and working during the pandemic. And this is the reason why we decided to organize the project in a way in which we can also suggest good practice for reading in this difficult time. And the main idea which is behind the ReadTwinning project is that of reading tandems, of working in small reading groups, 2 to 4 people. We decided to call them reading tandems. And the idea of working on small reading groups is connected with the idea of choosing books to read which are strictly related with specific interests of the pupils. Instead of trying to compromise in a large reading group on books which are maybe more or less okay for everybody, the idea is that the participant in the reading groups may choose the book that really interests them. This is, of course, easier with smaller reading groups. That's the basic idea and the reason why we are working in the project with small reading groups. And the idea is to giving methodologies, suggestions, and also online tools which can help in working with small reading groups, interest-based small reading groups. This is the main idea behind the project, which also can somehow profit from the work of a previous Erasmus Plus project, the project which was called The Living Book. And that project worked on an idea which is important also in this new project, the idea of augmented reading, the idea that reading nowadays is an activity which is connected with a wide reading ecosystem, in which also internet is relevant, all the kind of social networks of tools which and contents which are available through the web are relevant. And when we read, very often we also connect what we are reading with content which is available on the net. And the first project, the Living Book project, tried to give methodologies for this augmented reading. Now, in the small reading tandems of ReadTwinning, the idea is to give to the pupils, to the reading pals, which are connected in those small reading groups, tools which can help to read a book together, and among those tools, also tools which may help to read in an augmented way, which means to use also content, relevant content, which is available on the web. The idea is to avoid to consider the digital environment and the book environment as two separate environments. Try to connect them as much as possible, not in the sense of suggesting to read necessarily in digital form. It is not necessary. One of the main ideas of the project is that each and every participant to a reading tandem is completely free to choose how to read, whether on paper or on digital form, but they will have tools, partly online tools, which can help to read together, to make of reading an interesting activity. And the connection with personal interests is probably the main point of this project. In this moment, the project is still working, but we are in a stage of development where we have a first version of the guidelines, which for us inside the project is version 5, but it's the first version which is available on the website. And the guidelines, even if it is still a provisional version, there are still parts of the content which have to be added, but the guidelines as they are now are sufficiently complete, we think, to be used by schools, by pupils, and by reading groups in order to organize reading tandems. And we have made experiments during the lockdown period, and now the schools will tell you something about what has been done in the schools participating to the project. But the idea is that the guidelines now, in the form in which they are already sufficiently developed to allow different schools to experiment, even if they are not within the project. So one of the main messages of this dissemination event is please go on the website, check and read the guidelines, which are the first intellectual output of the project in chronological time, and see whether it is possible for you to use the suggestions and the ideas which are in the guidelines. Any feedback is very, very important for us. This is all from my side, and I will leave the stage now to the schools, which will present the activities which have been done within the project in the last months and in the last weeks.
Hello. I hope everybody can see my screen now. Is it okay? For those of you who don't know us, and participate in this event for the first time. We are a school from a small town in the eastern part of Romania, and 20 teachers, 1 librarian, and 4 other schools have been involved in the activities we have developed so far. So our ReadTwinning activities have been focused on 2 directions during all this period: on classroom collaborative and task-oriented activities promoting reading literacy, which was useful for building the module of lesson plans, one of the intellectual products; offline and online activities of connecting students with the same interest towards reading. And I have to say that we have been teaching online since 8th November, and during this period, since our last meeting until now, most of our activities, if not all, have been developed online. We didn't have any other choice. We organized small reading groups, especially on the class level, online. And I will start now with some activities that my colleagues have developed during this period. I will start with some project-based activities. And these activities were meant to encourage students to read also non-literary texts, to read information, select information, but also add a creative part and go beyond the text they read a little bit. And I will show you some examples of what my colleagues and me have worked on this. One task of this would be the fact that students were asked to document themselves individually, but mainly in small groups or pairs, and write about an unusual place on the globe. They also imagined a dialogue with a local and wrote about a real or imaginary legend of the place. As you can see, they used a lot of online tools from Prezi presentation, the Story Jumper, Pigstone, and other sources of documentation they found. The places they presented were from worldwide, but also from Romanian, and all the students hearing their colleagues presenting online got informed about these places and probably found out a lot of interesting information they didn't know. Another topic of a project-based activity was related to art, and after debating with the students from the reading group on questions as what is art, what is your opinion, identify different types of art, or everyone can be an artist for or against. Again, the students were asked to document themselves, to read about, select an artist, read about him or her, work on a project in small groups or pairs. And also they have to introduce personal opinions in their project and also imaginary dialogues with the artists, either personal or imagining they're visiting an exhibition of the artist. And here is what they wrote. I honestly expected students to focus mainly on classics, but surprisingly, they found out artists I have never heard of, honestly. One of them being the Bansky, the anonymous British artist famous for his graffiti. Students, I think, discovered him on Instagram because he has more than 1 million followers there. He is an anti-authoritarian artist in his art, and his works sell with millions of pounds. Edward Munch, another artist I've never heard of, but students discovered him during his Scream painting, widely used in the film and from the book. Of course, they were Romanian artists they got themselves familiarized with. Bob Ross, another American painter, art instructor, and television host, which children followed also via the internet. And the students even wrote here that he taught me how to be more joyful and how to see the good part of things, just like him. Alexandra Nikita, a Romanian artist who is now living in America, very famous again. So going beyond what they read, the information they selected, the text they read, the students, besides enriching their general knowledge, shape their personalities also, as I read here, discovered the world of art differently. And honestly, I found out a lot of information myself from them and also the colleagues who got involved in such activities. Other activities involved reading about water, air, and soil, analyze, select information, make connections, and come with interesting information and present to their colleagues during the online classes which we had during all this period. Even the second grade is everything I presented have been done by the older students. I mean, 13, 14 years old, but this is what the second form students, I mean, the younger ones did. The primary school teacher came with an expanded reading, beside the curriculum obligatory text, and students worked very nicely, as you can see, in pairs or in small groups, and made reading diaries illustrating the text. They wrote in the diaries with nice drawings. We couldn't have the winter holidays without talking about the classic Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. We read fragments from the novel in class. We discussed it. Some of the students have already read the book. Others were stimulated to read it. And others honestly chose the easy way to watch the film. But together we, let's say, established some tasks to be carried out beyond the text, so to speak. And these were these 4 tasks from which students in small groups had to choose one and work directly on this. Either write a letter to Scrooge explaining why it's important to be nice to other people and why we should help those in need, either write a dialogue with Scrooge after the 3 spirits visit, or make a poster on the importance of kindness, or even write a diary with reflexive thoughts. And you can see here some outcomes from of the students. Here were involved small groups from the 5th grade at Romanian, the 6th grade at English. Here are some posters on kindness, and here is a journal page written by the new Scrooge at the end. As you can see, it's in Romanian. Also, the third form students had a reading club with weekly activities. You can see them here. This is a print screen from the Google Classroom, and they had topics with deadlines in November and December. Here were involved also students from a school partner in a small town in our department. I shouldn't forget to mention another small reading group in our school led by the speech therapist teacher who carries out online reading activities with 5 students with reading difficulties from 4 classes. Therefore, they are on different levels. They read together short stories, get involved in simple activities based on the reading. Also, the 4th grade students have their own reading groups. And another school has also been involved here from this place. And students together online had discussions on the reading importance. They wrote diaries, made posters promoting favorite books, and judging by the facial expressions, I put here some print screens, you can see they were quite enthusiastic to get involved into this activity. An activity with a huge impact on our students was organizing a digital book fair for Christmas holidays. And I can show you that on a Padlet, students from our schools, but not only, also students from 4 other schools got involved. They were asked to put a poster here promoting a book they read and which impressed them, in order for the other students to read and probably get ideas, discover common interests, share interest in reading. You see here the books were organized on different domains: childhood books, classics, fiction, contemporary poetry, comics. Of course, these domains may intermingle, but these were easier for students of all ages in our schools to follow. 155 posters were published here, a real community of readers, I may say. And the direct appreciations, comments, and the online vote have led to the winners on each sections, and which you can see here. So these are other books, comments the students put here. So an activity that, as I have pointed out, made students discover similar interests in reading, discover new books to read in the following period. We have here some of the impressions that the students told us. You see, Theodore from the 5th grade told us that I was very surprised that someone appreciated my book, being a less beloved genre, he said. Clara mentioned that it's a good modality to make students read more. Mara, it makes me feel the joy of reading. Theo, it encourages children to read what they like. All this activity also and the books that one in each section, so to speak, made us identify potential reading groups that we will try to organize in the near future based on the students' preferences. Also in our school, Dorina set up not long ago a school reading club which we are calling now a focus group. Why a focus group? Because the participants are now just 15 students with the ages from 13 to 15 years old from different classes. And the purpose of this focus group here is to discover how to develop students' reading skills and habits in the future from their perspective. And we just had some topics debated so far with some students. These are the topics we try to debate with them. I will have them in the presentation later on. But what is more important is to find out their point of view regarding these topics. In the future, we would like to extend this school reading club with more students. But for now, let's present some opinions that students shared with us. When it comes to why students don't read, Mara was very honest and said that reading is an activity that stimulates brain activity more than other day-to-day tasks. Therefore, it is less probable for children to choose the hard way that involves more thinking and so rather decide on less stimulating activities. Dennis was also honest and said that students don't read because they are more interested in computer-related activities, such as video games or watching movies. Theo mentioned more profoundly, I would say, that students don't read because they do not find a purpose in reading. He said, I think the major factor in these things is how people relate to reading as a boring, outdated thing, a stupid way to spend time. When it comes to the question if school activities intertwine with students' reading interests, Miknia from the 7th grade told us that since we started carrying out activities during the ReadTwinning project, the activities did start to intertwine with his interests and his colleagues' interests. But he said honestly that teachers always make us read books, but they don't think about our taste in books. And he thinks that school should give reading lists according to the students' genre preferences rather than what they think is good for us. Clara mentioned also that from her point of view, school doesn't currently contribute to the development of motivation and interest in reading. At school, we study 8-10 texts, which aren't always interesting. But I have to mention that these texts are from the curriculum, the obligatory curriculum in our school, and not necessarily we as teachers choose to force students into reading something. On the other hand, Mara said that you cannot know what you like until you are stimulated to try it, and that's exactly what school does. So you may find yourself that you like a text or a book while reading it. Of course, the free time the students don't very often have. Alexia mentioned that some schools care about what students and try to help them develop their reading experience. And Sophia agrees that such reading activities value us and help us choose good things in life and especially help us work as a team, as a plus. If students can be motivated to read by organizing events to promote reading, Mina says that that could be true if such events are more interactive and fun to attend. And he mentioned the virtual book fair I presented, which was very fun to organize and attend. While Clara mentioned that at least 10 students from her class, from her colleagues, read a book promoted in the project in this virtual book fair event. So they found a lot of activities and suggestions to read in the future. Theo also said that students can be motivated through such events because they found support and they need to understand that reading develops their skills on all levels. While Flavia mentioned very honestly that you cannot make a child enjoy reading again if they haven't learned this throughout their years, because they develop a hatred of reading, which they can hardly get rid of. But this can be also a good way to make students that are still into reading to read even more. When it comes to ideas about organizing the club in the future, Miruna mentioned honestly that she would really like to talk to someone about the book because she would share her point of view on the story, on the characters, but there are also barriers regarding some children lack of involvement. However, she considers that from these reading clubs we learn to be more responsible and collaborate better than we have done so far. Mihna mentioned that an obstacle would be to keep a group like that organized and civilized. Clara mentioned again the time barrier. Children spend a lot of time online, they have homework to do, and they can hardly have any free time during school time to read. And Theo finishes with a reflexive thought that monotonous reading turns into a continuous debate in which we expose our thoughts and ideas in a constructive way. Of course, there were all other interesting opinions that I couldn't introduce here because I was supposed only for 15 minutes maximum, but it's interesting to keep in mind all these ideas that students shared with us in order to improve this activity within the reading groups. And to finish, I might say that the reading twinning methodology provides the theoretical framework for developing the students' interest in reading. But the challenge for us as teachers is to find the most efficient and stimulating activities in this respect and put them into practice. So thank you for your attention. Now, I hope everything was okay. A lot of activities, I skipped through them quite fast, but I didn't want to forget anyone because a lot of activities have taken place in my school, and I would like to mention all of them. I hope I wasn't too long. Thank you all for your attention.
Can you see us? Can you hear us? Hello? Hello from Cyprus. We are Katerina and Yola.
Hello.
From Makedonitissas Primary School. We are very happy to be here with you and be a part of this dissemination of ReadTwinning.
Our previous experience on the area of literacy before ReadTwinning. Immediately after the foundation of our school, we focused on the promotion of literacy and the love of reading books in cooperation with the Nicosia University. We collaborated with Erasmus organizations at Tempo and Quartet, and foreign teachers visited our school and participated in many activities in order to exchange experiences, ideas, and good practices. We also actively participated as a partner at the Erasmus Key Action 2 project entitled The Living Book Augmented Reading for Life for 3 years, in cooperation with the European University. This was a professional attempt to involve a great number of teachers across Nicosia and other operators like the Pedagogical Institute of Cyprus and the Ministry of Education.
Our school had a big experience on the field during these years, and we kept some good practices that enrich this Erasmus project.
The good practice of daily morning free reading of a book was established for 10 minutes. Professionals from the field, writers, illustrators, actors, and others are invited every year at regular basis. For example, Lena
Lena is with us today, and we are very pleased. Lena is the president of the IBBY Cyprus. She has published 3 books for adults, 14 books for children, and many books for educational purposes, mostly environmental issues.
Parents are invited every year, informed and actively involved in workshops. For example, the Reading Coffee with Parents. Workshops are systematically organized by the school for children and parents. Students bring their own book from home and exchange it with their classmates. Competitions are held every year for posters and slogans for books. For example, "Give us books, give us wings" was a winning slogan. Implementation of technology in promoting the love for reading. Every year, an action plan is designed for promoting the love for reading.
Here is one example of an action plan for promoting the love for reading. All classes are involved in this project. The activities are designed according to the students' interest and their age. During the COVID period, we limited our action, but we found ways to do some activities with our students. Here are some activities from the workshop for students. Creative writing. It is one of their favorite activity about books because they don't have to do a typical writing activity. They work in a more creative way. They often work in teams. They put their own character in a story and then illustrate it. That fascinates them. Here is the mountain of storytelling. It is a technique for writing a story. It becomes more interesting if one student writes the beginning, the next one continues, then the other sets the challenges, and the last one solves it. Finally, the class applauds.
We implemented technology in our practices because we realized that technology motivates students and get them more interested and more willing to read books and work on them. The Story Jumper is an application for creating ebooks. The students can choose their characters, heroes, background, and their items to create unique stories. Storyboardpad is another application for creating comics. The interesting thing is that the students can easily change the characters' moves and their face expressions, and this is very motivating for them. Quiver application. This application helps the student to make their character active and alive in their stories. The students can easily create posters with Collage application.
Now we will mention some words of great writers that are in line with the philosophy of ReadTwinning project. Lockwood believes that if we want a successful program in promoting reading for pleasure, we need to involve students, teachers, parents, and the whole community. Miller says that everybody who calls oneself reader can tell that he started with meetings with wonderful books and meetings with the readers' community that share the same passion.
Two modules were designed in our school for the project. From September, all teachers were informed about the project. The modules were given to all students to start working. The parents were informed from the school's webpage about the project and its activities. Several activities were held for each module. Each module had 6 to 8 lessons, which were implemented in different subjects.
Module 1, Little Books, Big Ideas. Little books were created by students according to their interests. They wrote their stories and they added technology to make them more interesting for others. Here are some examples of the little books of our students. This one was completed just before Christmas. Can we have the before slide, please? Thank you. This one was completed just before Christmas, as I said. The students had to write about their pet, or Christmas, or a hero. This student combined 2 of them and wrote about his cat that accidentally destroyed the Christmas tree. This was the final product of the module. Now we plan to pass little books to the younger students of the school, and we aim to create a small library in the school.
Module 2, Stories in a Box. The students used recycled or useless items and broken toys to create their stories. They chose the kind of book they preferred, for example, mystery fictions or other. Then they used a thread to fasten the items they needed for their story, and they closed it in a box. At the end, they narrated the story to their classmates. We next plan to record the stories and upload them to our webpage and exchange them with other schools. These are some examples of the work of the 5th grade of our schools, the boxes with the threads inside and the stories closed in them. And finally, we have one example. It is a box with the title Wild Sea. This student chose to write an action story with mythical creatures, pirates, and hidden treasures. On the top of the box, there is a QR code. When one scans the QR code, he can hear the music that accompanies the story, narrated by the little writer.
And this is where our presentation ends. Thank you for being here with us today. We hope we gave you some fresh ideas. The truth is that we love books and we believe that books can give us a better tomorrow.
Thank you for your attention. Hope to see you soon.
Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria Idália Gomes, and I'm one of the members of the Portuguese team working on the ReadTwinning project. Considering that we have a short time to show you what has been done, we have recorded a video which highlights the most relevant activities developed under the project. So let's watch the video.
Hello, I'm João Lino, a master of the Vila Nova Paiva school group in Portugal. Joining the ReadTwinning project is an added value for the school group. It is a tool that helps to solve some of students' problems in the field of reading. The Vila Nova Paiva school group is involved in the project and is committed to achieve the objectives and the activities. Count on us. Good work and goodbye.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Maria Paula and I am the Portuguese team coordinator. The ReadTwinning project represents an added value to our school because it allows us to develop reading skills in a different way. From the start of the project, we have been doing several activities, which we will show you next.
história do livro O Segredo do Rio, escrito por Miguel Sousa Tavares. Eu escolhi este livro porque o achei muito interessante e a história que tem por dentro é muito bonita e engloba uma amizade. Era uma vez um menino que vivia com a sua família no campo. O seu sítio favorito era o ribeiro, onde tinha aprendido a nadar. Ia lá tomar banho todos os dias de verão e à noite ia observar as estrelas. Numa noite, ouviu um barulho na outra margem e avistou um javali com 2 filhotes que iam beber água. Esperou muito quieto até que eles voltaram a desaparecer no mar. Mas a sua maior aventura foi numa tarde de primavera, quando viu um enorme peixe a dar um salto fora d'água. E admirou-se quando o ouviu a falar. Ficaram amigos. Passou o verão e veio o outono. E os pais já não sabiam o que dar de comer aos filhos. O calor continuava e os campos estavam secos. Até que a mãe teve uma ideia.
Mágica da Sementinha. Autor Alves Rodmel, ilustrador Carlos Marques, história dedicada a António. A capa deste livro é muito interessante só pela sua maneira de ser. É uma capa colorida, é uma capa cheia de animais, porque eu gosto muito de animais, por isso é que me levou a escolher este livro. Falam os bagos de trigo. Desde que António Seiro os tinha lá deixado, numa escuridão de muitos meses, ficaram lá a apodrecer o resto da sua vida. Ignoraram, pois, um boi doirado, que já lavrara com a charrura. Outono era uma época em que António Seiro precisava de adubo para as suas plantas e com uma esperança de uma boa colheita. Maria Rita, que era uma menina que mexeu nas coisas do pai, pegou e abriu a arca, tirou de lá um pequeno grão que se chamava Sementinha.
Boa noite a todos. Hoje vamos falar de um livro chamado Rosa, Minha Irmã Rosa, que foi escrito pela escritora Alice Vieira, que nasceu em Lisboa em março de 1943.
O livro Rosa, Minha Irmã Rosa tinha uma menina chamada Mariana, que tinha apenas 10 anos. E ela era filha única. Mas, com o tempo, a mãe lhe disse que ia ter prestes uma irmã chamada Rosa. Ela não gostava muito da irmã, começava a ficar triste e zangada porque os meninos eram só para a Rosa, que era a irmã dela. E ela não gostava então da irmã. Mas com o tempo ela foi gostando porque começou
a perceber que não podia ser só para ela os mimos.
E que não podemos todos ser invejosos.
E é assim a história do livro. Obrigada a todos.
Uma pequena introdução, este livro foi escrito por Antonia Saint-Exupéry, a editora é a editora Alcobense e está no Plano Nacional de Leitura para Sexta. Este livro conta a história de um menino, um rapaz, que um dia estava no avião sozinho, a voar por cima do deserto de Saara, até que o seu motor desliga e ele cai completamente no meio do deserto.
Não é um rapaz, é um homem já crescido.
É um homem, sim.
Mas só que então ele cai e então ele começa a pensar que como está sozinho, ele vai ter de consertar a... I'm going to be talking about my favorite topic, reading. Now, I've always liked to read ever since I was younger, and I really don't know why. I guess it was that when I was younger, my parents and teachers always encouraged me to read both in Portuguese and in English. And I guess that over time I started to enjoy it, and I still do today. Now, I don't really have a favorite type of book because they're all amazing in their own way. But I really like adventure books because you never know what to expect, and they're really exciting. In class, sometimes we do activities related to books, and I really enjoy them because they always give me an urge to read, especially the books that we're learning about.
So as you could see, these are some of the activities we have been doing under the project. We had to adapt the activities because of the pandemic, because we were closed for a long period. I would like to emphasize that this activity, Reading in Family, was awarded 2 distinctions by the Ministry of Education for being an innovative practice. So it's, in fact, it's a very good project that unfortunately was interrupted because now parents cannot come to school. It was substituted because they read at home with their children. As you could see in the video, that mother, together with her daughter, they read a book and they discussed the book in the video. So it was an alternative that was found to substitute the activity Reading in Family. So I hope you have enjoyed our video, and thanks for your attention, for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think you could get an idea of the first activities which were organized in the school participating in our project, and I think we all envy the perfect English of the last student in the video from Portugal. Very nice activities, and you also maybe got an idea of the kind of tools which we suggest to use, for instance, reading diaries. For instance, also the idea of organizing reading tandem in families, especially in this period with lockdowns and problems connected with the pandemic. Okay, we also thought it useful to have some external guests participating in our dissemination event, also to give an idea of possible connections of the ideas developed within the project and other kind of activities which are connected with the promotion of reading in schools. And we are very happy to have with us Lena Pericleus. She was already presented by the Cyprus school, so I don't need to present her, but we are very, very happy to have her here and to leave her the stage.
I'm happy as well to be with you. I'm not sure I will manage to share my screen, Something's wrong, eh?
Okay, now the audio is okay again.
Can Ludovica help me, because I have sent or you can...
Yes, probably Ludovica can share the slide if you have problems with the slide. The important thing is to keep your audio active.
Okay, excellent. Now you can see the screen. Well, if Ludovica is clever enough, and as I understand she is, she will follow what I'm saying. Thank you very much. It's really been a pleasure listening to what you have been doing through this project. It's brilliant. Thank you for giving me the chance to be here with you at this splendid ReadTwinning. I do share your scope to give the kids the motivation to read for pleasure, and as a result improve their literacy motivation and their views. It's brilliant. Things are, I believe that if we leave the books to speak, it will be easier than we believe. We do not have to do anything else, but give the kids, younger and older, the chance to get in touch with good books. Books inspire us, they inspire our imagination, and if they are in contact with kids' interest, and that's what you have been trying to do, then everything is done. Literature and literacy will go hand in hand. You know it as well as I do, that if you fall in love with literature, literacy will come along. So our discussion today will be more or less about love, falling in love with literature and creating a lifelong relationship with it. Let us start talking about the books that we love deeply and explain the reasons we do. The first thing about books, and if we go back to the first slide now, Ludovica, what a splendid name. So the books are magical, and the magical things about books is that they let you travel as far away as you wish without moving your feet. And what we plan to do is to create reading groups. Reading groups in schools is what we all try to do in different ways with various action and inspiring activities. The idea of connecting students through shared interest to develop love for reading is simply astonishing, since this way we accomplish two aims at the same time: socialization in the era of isolation and literacy through literature. Why do that? Because we know, and that is another secret we share together today, is that books not only teach us, they also make us happy, as a book a day indeed keeps reality away. We will, so let's move on. We will try to conclude the discussion in 10 minutes, and I will try to share with you a procedure of discussing. Most of you may know it, the 6 thinking hats of the Bono. So if we move on, there's a procedure using the 6 thinking hats. I don't know which of you know it. Let's move to the first hat. The next, the question for us to answer today is: are books so valuable? Do they have buried treasures? Do they hold hidden greatness? If we use the process the Bono uses, and we move from the white hat, which is the hat that is all about facts and information, we could make a statement. And the statement we can make using the white hat is that, let's move on, that books most certainly offer us knowledge. If you give me a moment, I think it will be easier for me to use the printed PowerPoint that I have. After that comes the green hat. The green hat is a creative hat. It's a hat that if you wear it, you have to make a conscious effort to come up with new ideas. So using the green hat, you can make we can make a statement that most certainly every time we read a book, we create in our mind pictures that the words can describe. Let's see the statement of the green hat, please. So this way, our imagination is moving on. And one thing that we can say is that you cannot use up creativity. The more you use it, the more you have. And this is not my saying, it's Maya Sangelou saying. Let's see the saying of Maya. And it's so true. The more you use imagination and creativity, the more you have. The yellow color stands for sunshine and optimism. And when you wear the red hat, then you have to look out for opportunities and benefits. And if I have to pick up a statement for the yellow hat, is that books inspire wonderful dreams. And this is very true. The next hat is the black hat. It's the caution hat, it's the negative one. The black hat is for danger findings and the danger that anyone could find in books, which is not something obvious, is that books sometimes make you antisocial. So the statement of the black hat is that books can make you antisocial since you are closed up to yourself. And this is something that doesn't apply to your project. And this is what is brilliant, because with reading and your project, you bring people together, you bring kids together, kids and families together, and this is brilliant. The red hat is an incredibly important hat. The red color stands for fire and emotions. So with the red hat, people are given the chance to explain their true feelings. And if I should pick up a statement for the red hat, then I should say that they have put love into books since it could not live anywhere else. And after the red hat, we conclude and we end our discussion using the 6 thinking hats with the blue hat, which is the overview hat. The blue hat is for management and organization of thinking. So the conclusion that they could state today using the blue hat is what Victor Hugo said, that reading is like food and water. The mind that does not read loses weight, like a body that does not eat. So using this procedure of thinking, we can move to our next statement, trying to say that now that we know how important books are, we can make a statement saying that if we create a relationship with books as kids, then most certainly we will build a lifelong relationship. Books will become our companion in good and in bad times throughout our lives. And of course, this leads us to the magical ladder of literature. Each book is a different step, and the picture is quite obvious. It's a different step we take to a happy and fulfilling life. We share most of these steps as humanity, since there are books, classical books, that we all have shared. I don't know, but you have all taken step number 1. Step number 1, let's go back. Yes, you all know it. This step is that fairy tale we simply all adore. It's the one about the young boy that doesn't want to grow up and he flies with his happy thoughts. Yes, I'm talking about Peter Pan. And then step 14 is the step where we all met that fanatical bookworm, you know him very well, Don Quixote, and we have all watched him again and again while he halted his breath and he did all the battles with the windmills and he won at the end. And at step 65 is Wonderland. And it's right there when you have all met Alice and became best friends. Yes, I do love literature. You're at the right slide. Excellent. Because literature is all about values and knowledge and critical thinking. And of course, knowledge, values, critical thinking, yes. And creativity, of course. And of course, emotions. Because if we read, we we are in contact with our emotions, and then we learn to share them. And let's move to the next slide, which I have to say, it's who I am. This is my favorite hat. I do have an issue with hats, you have already all noticed. And yes, I admit that this hat is the hat that arrived at my doorstep a winter afternoon, a couple of years ago, in a beautiful wrapped parcel. The very moment I was finishing a book, the very moment I was reading that very last sentence, and they lived happily ever after. You see, the book I was just finishing was book number 1000. And when you reach the book number 1000, you become officially bookworm. I was at that very moment officially declared bookworm. By whom? I don't know if you're familiar with WBB. WBB is the word Brotherhood of Bookworms. I don't know if you have it in Portugal or Romania or Italy, but we do have it in Cyprus, and you're welcome to join us. From that day on, I travel around various schools and various programs trying to persuade children, parents, and teachers that books are of immeasurable value. And if I succeed, I get to keep my hat. If not, they will take it back. So it's a long life procedure. I read, and then I talk about my readings, exactly like you are doing, exactly the way your students want to create reading communities. Thank God so far I'm doing well, and I keep my hat. Let's move on to explain why I am reading, and I believe I will share why you are reading as well. I read because life is not enough, and in the pages of a book I can become anyone. I read because the words that make up a story help me make my own life. I do not read to have a good ending, but many new beginnings, and I admit I'm a book nerd, and I do live in a crazy fantasy world. And yes, I admit that I am addicted to reading, yes. Why? Because I agree with what Einstein said, that imagination is more important than knowledge. And if you want to have smart kids, just let them read fairy tales. This way their imagination improves. And why? Because people with imagination can more certainly solve problems. Let us all send our imaginations to the gym then, opening up a book. Imagine your imaginations wearing sneakers, putting on tracksuits, getting in the gym, and lifting weights, running, cycling. And then everything will be changed. I know you all have in your house a conventional portable pharmacy, especially in the COVID era. Yeah, well, in my house, I have another fantasy, a literary pharmacy, with painkillers and other medicines. Whenever I feel sad, I open up a fairy tale. I read it, and then all the pain goes away, because they lived well. It's always followed by we lived better. And if I'm not very happy with myself, if, for example, I need someone to shake me up so as to rediscover the important things in life, then I read The Little Prince so as to remember that one sees only with the heart. What is essential is invisible for the eyes. And whenever I'm melancholic and I need a warm blanket to hug me, I get to read again Pollyanna and The Game of Joy. And when I feel that everything is going wrong and that I cannot change anything, I just read again Don Quixote and I start fighting with windmills. And I'm sure that in the end, I will manage to defeat them. And this leads us to the very, very, very important question. Which part of the house is the book's favorite? Whenever I ask the kids this question, the first answer that they come with is library, and they love libraries, and I'm sure you do. But the most, it's okay, the favorite part in the house for a book is under our pillow. Why? Because under our pillow, the book gives us wonderful dreams and drive away all our nightmares. And believe me, you should try it. I promise you it's true. When I was younger, I used to have nightmares. As after I started reading a book and putting it under my pillow, all my nightmares went away. And even though it does take a library to raise a child, please keep your books all over the place. And now that we are all book lovers and we believe in books, what do we do then? We do what you were talking about, what we were talking about. We visit schools, as we believe deeply in the power of literature, which is awakening and hopeful. They say that if you read fairy tales every night at the kids, they might have sweet dreams. But in fact, fairy tales wake us up in truth. And then, after we visit schools and we have our literature coffees, Katerina already talked to you about this. What happens next? We pose with the 6 thinking cards of De Bono, parents and kids. Can you see this, the next picture, please? Together, and then we discuss and learn to accept each other. And then we share our reading experience, and we have fun with books, and we tell tales that are imaginary, and we all believe in them. And then we create our new imaginary worlds, and then we write stories, and we feel grateful for the special meeting we have shared, since there were so many of extraordinary creatures, imaginary or not, among us. Because I do believe that books are a form of political action. And yes, books are knowledge, and books are reflection, and books do change our minds. I am a reader, and I live 1,000 lives, and I'm sure this will happen until the end of my life. Someone who never reads lives only one. It was an interesting meeting. It didn't go very well because of the presentation, but I do wish you a happy book year, and thank you for the opportunity you have given me to be with you today. I promise you that many of the ideas you have shared will come to my school as well. And it was really nice meeting all of you. I wish you all the best with your project, and hopefully we will meet again.
Thank you, Elena. Very inspiring and very nice ideas indeed. And I think that now we have Pete from UK, from GRYD. They are the technological partner of the project, and they are working to the development of the online tools for the project.
Hello everybody, hi, I'm Pete Stevens from a small organisation in the UK called GRYD. We are an education company. We produce educational resources, including online interactive platforms. And so the hub of the ReadTwinning project is the platform. It's conceived as a place for students to learn, to enjoy, to connect. The aim is to connect students together based on their shared interests, as we heard earlier. here today, rather than the approach of students only reading together with their classmates. So the aim is to increase engagement in general. The platform itself will be brought to life by a thriving community of connected readers and viewing today, and will sign up soon. The platform, though it's completely free and open for teachers and students across Europe and beyond to use it. It will contain an ever-expanding network of potential reading partners, reading tandems. Each new user who registers on the platform discovering your personal interests, but also discovering the type of books that you'd like to read. Each reader will then be connected or be offered connections with other readers who share their interests and would also like to read a similar book or a similar theme of books. These social connections could be formed simply to read one book together, or the connected readers may choose to read a suite of books together. The platform enables the readers to be connected with people from different school years, different schools even, different cities, or even different countries if they have a shared language. And we have some tools available that will hopefully make the language differences a little bit more easy. We're also encouraging connections with readers of different cultures and different socioeconomic groups, with the main focus being on their shared interests. So simply because they're from a different city or different country, maybe they have a similar interest, and maybe that's the foundation for their connection and their reading tandem. So we're developing a series of tools designed to help identify and connect these readers together, shaping them with a rich, motivating and shared reading environment based on parallel reading the same book or thematically connected books. The ReadTwinning community will be a rich, motivating and shared reading environment, employing social media to enable interaction with the wider community and not only with their reading partner. To enhance the connected reading experience and encourage usage by readers, the platform will be gamified, where the readers will earn badges for unlocking each step of the platform, and will be awarded for time spent connected and with reading with other members of the community. We're also aiming to use games as a method of discerning their interests when they first register for the platform and throughout to try and encourage more usage. We're developing also a series of toolkits to support the effective use of the platform and also associated technologies and associated apps. We heard about some of those earlier in the presentations from the schools. The platform itself, the guidelines, the lesson plans and sections of the blended learning courses will be available for teachers and students via the platform to use across Europe. And to reach a wider cross-section of Europeans, the platform is of course multilingual, including the languages of the project partnership. And we're going to be using a mixture of manual translation done by the partners for the main content, and also using some automated translation for some of the direct dynamic content. So that will include the social media stream, where students will be able to have a conversation in their own language, and then the platform will do some of the automated translation for them so they can actually have a little chat, a bit like you'd see on some of the main works. The initial community already exists on the ReadTwinning platform, but over the next 6 months we will be adding some of the features that I've mentioned a few moments ago. We would like all of you, if you haven't already, to register on the platform and also to provide feedback to us and any ideas that you have of interesting features that we can add. You will see those develop over the coming months, and hopefully by the end of this academic year the platform will be fully developed and available in all of the partner languages. So I hope that all of you will have the opportunity to register and to use it, and I wanted to thank you for your time today, and I look forward to hopefully meeting you on the platform and perhaps even reading a book together. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Pete. There was some problem with the connection, but I think we could follow the lines of his presentation and the ideas which are behind the work that Pete and GRYD are doing on the platform. The platform is also already open at the same address of the guidelines. You can register in the platform, and you can follow the development of the tools, which will be developed in the next months. So thank you to Pete. And as I said, we have two guests. The second guest we have is Giulio Blasi from Media Library Online. Media Library Online is a online library which is very much in schools in Italy. It allows digital lending of books, of newspapers, and so it's something that can be useful, especially in this period of problems with physical libraries, physical school libraries. It is a tool which can help to keep working on reading and on literacy, even in when physical libraries, school libraries are closed. We thought it would be interesting to have the opinion and the experience of Giulio, and I leave him the stage.
Thank you very much, Gino. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be with you all. I'll share my screen, not because I have any slides to show, but just to give you okay. I hope you're seeing this is just the home page of the service that we offer in Italy, which is called Media Library Online, and you'll find it at the address www.medialibrary.it. And what is this service about? This is a digital lending service that works with 6,500 libraries in Italy, and we work with all kinds of libraries. Actually, we work with public libraries. Just wait a moment, please. I'm really sorry, but my dog was doing an incredible mess while I was talking, and this was a problem for me. So we work with public libraries, with school libraries, and with university libraries. And what we offer is essentially an online access to a wide variety of resources, of digital resources, ebooks, audiobooks, movies, music, and a lot of open digital resources, which may support what in the language of your project is called resources for the augmented reading. Why are we working in schools especially? I think that schools have a special problem in Italy. I don't know if this is a problem shared by school libraries in other countries in Europe. And the main problem is the fact that their catalog, their book collections are very, very poor. And what digital services permit, at least in Italy, is the access to a wide range of books. Well, the typical media library collection in a school is composed of about 60,000 new publications, new books of all kinds and for all types of readers, while the typical school library in Italy is composed of a catalog of about 1,000 to 3,000 books, and typically very, very old and not particularly sexy for readers and for users looking for new publications. why is your project interesting to me? I think that the basic idea under the ReadTwinning project, that is the idea of creating small reading groups, adding activities to these reading groups, and thinking about the selection and the matching of users. Well, all these elements are very typical of digital environments. And in a way, they're typical they're an essential component of digital libraries. Digital libraries are, if you want, in their essence, a sort of social network in which every user is virtually connected to each other, and in which the environment of data permits the matching of user with a variety of tools, for example, using machine learning algorithm and etc. So what I see in the ReadTwinning model is something that could be easily fitted in the work, in the daily work, in the daily operation of a digital library platform like Mlal. And I very much hope that the platform that Pete from GRYD just briefly described may have in the future open application interfaces for a platform like ours, and it would be a pleasure to connect our digital resources to the mechanism which has been invented and experimented, especially in your project. What is interesting is numbers and data in digital libraries, and this is why we are already experimented with some algorithms of recommendations. And the idea that comes from your project is that you may add to this algorithm also the idea of connecting people, not only people to books, which is the main objective, the main goal of digital recommenders, but also people to books. And I think that in a way this has never been done. And well, it's I find very, very interesting your experience, and well, hopefully this is something that we will be able to experience and experiment together in the future. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Constantin, and I will present on behalf of the European University Cyprus about the project we are currently the training that we are currently organized as part of the project. Let me share my screen. If you can confirm that this is okay. So if this is okay, I will just start. So, as I mentioned, part of the project is the Connected Teachers training, which will also involve parent educators as well. The training will consist of 8 modules. both synchronous and asynchronous learning, and taking into account the difficulties posed by the pandemic, we will design it so that it can run both online as well as face-to-face. So in a sense, it will be a blended training course. And if we cannot do the face-to-face, we will use other platforms like Zoom for the synchronous learning. And this course will also have a component on parental engagement. The parents educators training will follow the same themes that I will present now, which will also be the themes for the connected teachers training. But it will the activities will differ, and they will be designed to involve parents. The seminars, as I said, will include materials online, which we will be hosted on the platform, and hands-on activities. Some of them can take place online before the class, and some others during the class or after the class. So in what follows now, I will present the structure of the modules and the content and some indicative activities so that you get an idea of what the training will be. So in green here, you can see the modules that should be face-to-face or via online synchronous communication. And these are the ones that I will talk mostly about. The rest will be uploaded in videos at the platform. So the first course of the training will aim to provide an overview of the ReadTwinning approach and the rationale. It will focus on interest-based reading, as Gino presented at the beginning of this event. This is a core idea of the ReadTwinning approach. And we will also focus on the digital ecosystem and the social dimensions of reading that are also important. It's an important basis on which the approach is developed. And as an exercise for collaborative reflection, we will ask teachers to share and discuss in groups or if online in breakout rooms practices that they currently follow or that they suggest to follow that are compatible with the ReadTwinning approach. And this can give an idea to start sharing practices and for us to get a sense of what teachers are already implemented so that the seminars will build upon communities of practice. The second module will be dedicated to the theoretical basis of the project. We will present the main theories of literacy that we follow in the design of the ReadTwinning approach, such as critical literacy, media literacy, digital literature circles, etc. And we will also focus this seminar a lot on informal learning and playful learning and gamification. Again, as a hands-on activity, we suggest we will ask teachers to suggest and discuss activities that they follow and they implement the main theoretical points that will be presented at the seminar in an attempt to bridge theory and practice. So after presenting the basic theories of the project, which were the first two seminars, in the third module, we will focus more on motivation and engagement and disengagement, which is, again, part of the focus of this project. We will start this module with an online forum before the class where teachers will be asked to discuss what they think that motivates their students to read or not. And after collecting their own thoughts and views of students' motivation, they can also discuss these things with their students and then come back to the discussion forum. We will talk during the seminar about motivation and engagement or disengagement, especially in relation to reading. And then we will connect this issue of disengagement with issues of inclusion. And in particular, we will talk about digital inclusion as a key for engaging young readers in reading activities. And as an activity, we were thinking of asking teachers to use the activities that they suggested and discussed in the previous modules, but this time redesigning them using the principles of digital inclusion and universal design for learning, which will be part of this seminar, of the beginning of the seminar. And then module 4, this will be online, and it will teachers will be asked to watch the videos that will be on the platform, on the ReadTwinning platform, on how to use it and how to use its basic functions. Then module 5. Here we move more to more practical issues, and we will present examples from school partners that have already applied the ReadTwinning, and we will present their experience. We have also asked the partners from Dimotiko, Makedonitissas that you heard earlier, Katerina and Yola, to help us with this one and present their own experience, but we can also involve other partners from other countries. And then in module 6, we'll focus on assessment. And here we were initially a bit troubled on how to assess the reading skills of the connected reader, which is not just the basic reading skills, the more general reading skills. So we thought that we will talk more about formal and informal methods of assessment, focusing rather more broadly on 21st century skills in the assessment, which involve collaboration and communities of learners that do relate with the ReadTwinning approach. And we will also use games and other digital tools for assessment of connected readers, such as alternative reality games, videos, collaborative digital diaries, etc. As an activity, we will engage teachers in using games for assessment, trying them out themselves, and also ask them to perhaps design and use a questionnaire in their classrooms to help students recognize their reading styles, strengths, and weaknesses themselves. And the last 2 modules are again videos uploaded in the platform, which will be a collection of examples from the different partners who applied the ReadTwinning approach. And we also thought of collecting reflections from teachers in terms of the challenges they face, but also maybe the possibilities and suggestions. It's something we will work on. And the final module is supposed to be an interactive, practical course where teachers themselves will self-assess their learning outcomes. We're thinking of asking them to write short reflections, filling a questionnaire, and maybe uploading some portfolios or samples from work they've done in classrooms. So this is just very briefly the training seminars that we have been working on the last couple of months, and we are planning to have them ready before spring. So thank you very much. And I have here also the names of the rest of the colleagues that all of us have worked on these seminars, and we keep working on them.
Hi everybody, I'm Marina Lovato from ProgettoMondo Mlal. And before coming back on the last tools and communication tools of ReadTwinning, I'd like to make a flight around the world, because I work in an NGO who works in educational field, but also in development cooperation fields. And in this occasion, I'd like to share that in many countries where we work in South America and Africa, talking about reading and literacy is fundamental to fight global issues. For example, when I was in Burkina Faso, I saw a lot of pupils studying in the street where there was the only light to study, and for them the reading the books was the occasion to dream their change. And in the same ways, some other problems like malnutrition of pupils or inequalities or discrimination can't be solved without considering the value of education and literacy. It is fundamental because it gives the possibility to dream. Promote reading is a way to fight inequalities, not only in our schools but all over the world. So I was very inspired today from the contribution of schools and from Elena and from all the partners, because this importance of the art of storytelling, I think that is fundamental if we want to let pupils grow as actors of change. So I would like to share this final consideration, because we don't have to forget that this importance is not only in Europe but all over the world, where reading and books can't be considered as tools that people have. So we want and we continue to promote reading as a factor of change. But coming back to ReadTwinning, in ReadTwinning we are an actor responsible also of communication. And ReadTwinning is a community of readers, and it is a community of actors who support the beauty of storytelling among youngsters. We have discovered in today the main tools and activities of the project, and the beauty of this alliance that we want to create. But we need a joint efforts among schools, teachers, among families, among libraries, public libraries, and other stakeholders who want to join us. So each of us is involved and can do something to promote the reading and consequently literacy among young people. I'd like to share the screen showing you the website of the project, where you can find some instruction to be involved. So I'm trying to do this, share screen. I hope that you are seeing my screen. This is the website of ReadTwinning, where you can join us, mainly be informed. So here you can find not only information about the project, but also output, resources, the partners, and the platform where the reading tandems will be created and connected. But you can only subscribe the project. So here you can fill your data and get involved. In this way, you will receive our newsletter that we produce and disseminate every 3 months. And in the newsletter, we will find information, news from ReadTwinning activities and outputs. You will learn from the schools and the experience realized in schools, and you will discover the main events of the projects. So I'd like to invite you to get involved and subscribe the project. And you can also visit and follow us in our social network. At the moment, as you see, we have a Facebook account, a Twitter account, and the YouTube channel. I invite you to follow us and to spread among your friends. In the future, in the next future, we will also be present in Instagram, but we will let you know. And so my invitation is to help us to disseminate and spread the aim of the ReadTwinning community. That is not only to invite people and spread the love for reading, but also it is a way to fight inequalities and to create a better world for all, thanks to the power of dreams that books gave us. So thank you.